Hey guys, welcome to the Acne Clear Chef and hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I want to jump on and share an amazing recipe with you guys. I like to call this one the sweet potato vegetable medley. This recipe is loaded in vitamin-rich vitamin C, K, A, and D. So for this recipe, we'll be using some delicious sweet potatoes with some amazing vitamin chock-full rich kale, as well as some tanginess from a gluten-free tamari dressing, combined with some zing from the red onion and sweet potatoes. So with that being said, let's dive in. Okay, so to start this recipe off, what you're gonna need is about 2 to 3 large sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are high in vitamin C and A, and they're excellent for your skin. Next, we'll be using some red onion. Now, this is an amazing antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antibacterial component, and we'll be using 1 red onion for this recipe. Next is my favorite vegetable, one of my favorite vegetables, right next to spinach, is kale. Now, if you guys don't know what kale is, I'm sorry to say that, but where have you guys been? No, but honestly, kale is a great superfood. It's loaded with vitamin K, A, C, and D. It's got a lot of antioxidant properties, but it's really good for blood flow. And one of the things I noticed from my personal experience is that any kind of dark leafy vegetable has so many vitamins and minerals in it that it actually helps with the pigmentation of your skin, and it actually helps lighten the tone a little bit and helps circulate blood flow to your face. So if you're looking for a little bit more blood flow in your diet, I would highly encourage you to incorporate kale, spinach, or any dark leafy green vegetable, which is under the non-starchy vegetable category, into your diet. You're also going to need some extra virgin organic olive oil, or you can use avocado oil or grapeseed oil. Now you'll also need 1 can of chickpeas. And then last but not least, we're going to be making a homemade tahini marinade or dressing that you can make by yourself. So I'm going to use about half a lemon here. And then on top of that, we are going to use some organic fair trade sesame tahini. Again, this is a healthy plant-based protein combined with the chickpeas. It makes great for a nice side dish. But with that being said, we're going to be using these two with a little bit of hot water to make a nice sesame tahini dressing. I actually borrowed this recipe from Minimalist Baker, but I'm making it a little bit more acne friendly. So let's throw these together. All right, so to start this recipe off, we're going to take our large sweet potatoes and we're going to cut them into 3/4 inch cubes. Okay, so for the spices, I've actually decided to change my mind. I'm going to use nutmeg and cinnamon instead of the other spices, paprika, chili powder, cumin, and garlic. I've made this recipe before and I find these spices are really nice with this. It really adds a nice kind of hearty, warm, and very kind of therapeutic kind of tastes, but also it's very kind of reminds me of kind of like Thanksgiving and cold weather. And these really pair nicely with sweet potatoes and as well as with the onion and the chickpeas and the kale. So now that I've chopped up all of my sweet potato, I have about 1 to 2 pounds of sweet potatoes on a baking sheet. I'm going to add about half to 1 full onion. I'm going to cut this into large chunks. Now I'm going to take 1 can of organic chickpeas. You're going to want to drain the water. Wash it with some water, and then pat dry and add into your baking sheet. So now that I've added my solid ingredients here, I'm going to start adding about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can also use avocado or grapeseed oil as well if you have it. Then add your cinnamon, your nutmeg, and mix with your hands. You can also add more olive oil to this dish as you want. Just be pretty generous with it, but don't go too crazy. Just use probably about 2 to 4 tablespoons would be the recommended usage for this recipe. So now what you're going to want to do is put these roasted vegetables into the oven for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to cook these until I can pierce through the sweet potato with a fork, so it may be a bit sooner Now, depending on the size of the sweet potatoes, it may take longer or less. Okay, so after about 30 minutes, you're gonna wanna take the pan out of the oven, and you're gonna wanna take about 1 to 2 stalks of kale and simply rip them into pieces and add them onto the baking sheet. And once you've added the kale, just add a copious amounts of olive oil onto the kale as well. I'd recommend about 1 to 2 tablespoons as well. Additionally, you can add some nutritional yeast for some extra vitamin B and a little bit of a cheesy flavor into the recipe as well. Throw the pan back into the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes or until the kale is crispy. So once your vegetables are done cooking, you can start to begin by making your dressing. So what I'm going to do here to make the dressing is I'm going to use half a lemon here and I'm going to juice it. You can either use one of these juicers or handheld juicers. You can buy them at the dollar store or at a culinary store, which I would highly recommend. Get yourself a good quality hand juicer. And we're simply going to squeeze half a lemon here. Just show it. Once I got my lemon juice, I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of organic tahini and add them into a mixing bowl. Now I'm going to add my squeezed lemon juice to the mixing bowl. Then I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of hot water into the mixture. You can also add some organic honey or maple syrup into the recipe as well. I'm going to use some organic honey for this one, just for sweetness. About 1 to 2 tablespoons. And you can either mix with a whisk or a spoon. All right, and there's an easy, delicious, nutritious meal to go. Add with some chicken and rice, and you're good to go. Again, amazing recipe, guys. We're getting a lot of amazing benefits from this meal. You're getting a lot of micronutrients into your diet, a lot of those healthy fats that I was talking about earlier, some plant-based proteins, and you can even combine this recipe with a little bit of chicken and brown rice to make yourself a complete meal. If you want to see more acne fighting recipes that help build health from the inside out, follow me on my YouTube channel or follow me on my WordPress blog. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you next week.